you. This is an event today. I love it. Thank you. What an awesome day. We're so grateful to be here. And today we start focusing on the tremendous empowering theme of affirmation. So we'll be giving it our go here. Many of us have heard the words, be careful what you wish for, it may happen. How many of you heard that before? I have many times, from my parents sometimes. And then this month we go a step further and we say, be careful what you think, speak, and feel, because it will happen. It will happen to you. And then we go a step further during this month of affirmation and we say, be careful what you focus on, it will manifest in your life. How many of you can buy into some of that? Okay, maybe after today you will. When I was a kid, my dad used to say, and this was many years ago, when I was a youngster, my dad used to say to the family, and he had a little mom and pop grocery store, and he would tell us, he said, you know, during the fall, in October, I always have bursitis. And so you need to all step up to the plate and help us run the store during October because I'll be down with bursitis. And what happens? Guess what? Every October, we all pitch in and he got through his bursitis. Spiritual teachers tell us we make our own laws, our own personal laws. And you might say, well, what does that mean? Well, some of these laws are kind of ridiculous and silly. I know one of my friends is in the audience, I'm not going to mention his name, but he created a law for Angelo. He said, Angelo is always late at our meetings. Angelo is always late. He was creating a law for Angelo. I'm going to mention his name. He sat there smiling. So I was determined not to move that law, so I would always try to be at the stupid meetings ahead of time to beat him out. So we're always creating laws. When I was writing my next door neighbor, his name is Charles. I hope he's not watching YouTube, because he's been many years ago. He'll probably forget by now. But he used to complain every single day, it seemed like. And he'd be out in his front yard and he'd complain. And here's what his law was. He said, the neighborhood dogs feel that my yard is their bathroom. And gosh, he'd go out there and see these stacks and this doggy do all over his yard. Then he'd call me over and he says, now look at this, look at your yard, it's clear. Anyway, so each of us, we have this tremendous, whether we want to accept it or not, it doesn't matter whether we believe this or not, it doesn't matter what church we go to, the bottom line is that each one of us, we're awesome creative beings, that's who we are. And each one of us has the ability to create our life experiences through the power of creativity and to create our own story. And because at the very core of our being, we need to realize what we are. Now, we're eternal creative beings, yes we are, and we are one with this tremendous life force that's a creator of all there is. That's who we are. And that's what we are. And the mystics say that we're a soul. Sure. Are we a soul? Absolutely. We're a soul occupying a body. And others say, Angelo is one of them, he said that we are a spirit that are trying to figure out how to work in a physical universe, in a physical body, and that's what we are as well. So we might say, well, then this is the month of affirmation. Does everything we think and everything we say manifest in our life? Thank God that doesn't happen. How many people are on the planet? 6 billion people. If everybody manifested their desires, their thoughts, through their thoughts and their words, we'd be more a chaotic mess than we are currently. And so what I decided to do was to present to you some ideas on that. The universe, I think, has a sense of humor. And so we go to newspaper, we go to the people who do these newspaper headlines, and they mean what they say, but they don't always say what they mean. So this gives you an idea of why it's important that everything we say does not necessarily manifest. Include your children when baking cookies. Something went wrong in jet crash, experts say. This one I wasn't going to say because my sister watches these YouTubes, but prostitutes appeal to the Pope. I'm sorry, Anne, if you're watching this with the others. Panda mating fails, veterinarian takes over. These are actual headlines. And you can see why Angelo made this thesis that the universe had better not express everything we say. Minors refuse to work after death. I like this one. I was part of that. Juvenile court to try shooting defendants. Stolen painting found by a tree. Two sisters reunited after 18 years in a checkout counter. A woman improving after her fatal crash. Legislators want tougher death penalty. This one I like. Red tape holds up a new bridge. I got a couple more of that. Drunks get 9 months in violent case. And this one, fried chicken cooked in microwave oven wins a trip. And last but not least, there's the last one. A man was found dead in a cemetery. So we can, just to get that out, we need to be very grateful to the universe for not manifesting everything we say and everything we think. With 6 billion of us, it would be really a disaster. Anyway, Lynn McTaggart, in her awesome book, The Field. How many of you have read The Field? You know, it's not a test, okay. She documented how powerful we are in creativity. And I'm not going to get into all her research because it would take 2 or 3 to 4 of these, and besides it's Bob's territory, so we won't interfere with that. But her research shows that we are tremendous creative beings, and some of this you may or may not agree with, but it's research. A researcher did an ingenious study. His name was Gerald, and he found that our ability to hope for the best for others definitely may actually affect the healing of others. Isn't that incredible? Just the idea that we can hope for the best for someone, there's a possibility that it may affect the healing of others. And then there was another one that came prior to that, and this guy's name was Rex Stanford. He showed that people could influence events. Isn't that interesting? That we could influence events just by hoping everything would go well. That's the research. Just by hoping everything would go well. Even if those persons who's doing the hoping don't really know what that going well means. It just does affect. So we're awesome. Many people have cell phones. How many of you have a cell phone? We've got cell phones. Stella's has 2 or 3 of them. And with that cell phone, we can make a connection to everybody or anybody in the world that we want to do that, can't we? Well, each one of you has what we call a spiritual cell phone. And that spiritual cell phone is affirmation. It's our ability to make direct contact to the source of all there is. And in most cases, it's a direct communication that results in something. Mystics call this idea of affirmation the ability that we have to say yes to our life experience. Angelo has another viewpoint in that. It's our sovereignty over. It's our, thank you, Gene. Gene always lets me know when I'm whispering. I do some of that for effect. I don't want anybody to hear what I'm saying.
It's working.
It's working. Thank you, Johnson. But mystics say that this idea of affirmation is our ability to say yes to our life experience, and that's quite true. Everyone in this room, you are affirming every moment of the day. Now, as we pointed out through these articles, these headlines, not everything that you affirm with thought and with words necessarily will manifest. We're going to show you why and when it does.